what's up? Hello, it's Katie Colson here. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to talk about the 23 books I have to read in 2023. Now, this is a twofer kind of video because not only is it the 23 books of 2023, but they're all also anticipatory releases. They are all being released between January to August, I believe, because that's as far out as I could find books that I knew were going to be released in 2023 and their release dates. Not all of them have covers, but you know, we'll work with what we have. And even one of them doesn't even have a title yet, but I'm sure it's going to come out. Oh God, I better not jinx myself. It better come out in 2023, I swear to God. Real quick, I need to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Book of the Month. And it's actually so funny that they're the sponsor for today's video because one of the books that I got from them in the month of December is actually one of the books for this video. Like, of course, Book of the Month is thinking ahead and knows the video I'm planning before even I do. Have you heard of Book of the Month? It's a subscription service where every month their team vets through hundreds of new and anticipatory releases, and they pick 5 to 7 that they think that you should have your eye on in all different genres, okay? And each month you can pick one book and up to 2 add-ons, which is amazing because the prices for these books are insanely low comparatively. Like this book that I got this month, Kiss Her Once for Me by Allison Cochran. This is a sapphic romance where it's girl meets boy, but then girl meets boy's sister? What? I'm invested, okay? And this book would be going for $28 at a traditional bookstore, but with the code WONDER, if it's your first book that you get from Book of the Month, if you use that code, you can get this for $5. $5. I'm sorry, let that sink in. $5? Excuse me? So yes, please check out Book of the Month, use the code WONDER, and let's jump right into the video. The first book that I'm looking forward to in 2023 is actually coming out January 3rd, and it is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. Now, yes, this is a YA contemporary romance, which is famously not my thing, but it's Talia Hibbert, and she deserves my blind faith, okay? So this also has my favorite trope, which is rivals to lovers, but add another element onto that because Celine and Bradley were ex-best friends that then turned academic rivals that then get into a romance. Like, we've got tropes on tropes on tropes, and I'm excited because I've heard the banter in this is amazing, okay? So we're following Celine, who is a social media influencer for conspiracy theories. Stunning. And then Bradley, who is a popular football player who has OCD, which I also have OCD, so I'm very looking forward to that representation. And they're always fighting and rivaling against each other. But then one day, Celine decides to join in like a survival contest in the woods. And who shows up? Bradley, okay. And they are having to team together to win this grand prize, but it's bringing back all these memories of like their history together. And you know, we can just assume it's a romance. We can just assume where it's gonna go. But I'm very excited. I love banter. I love Talia Hibbert, and I love rivals to lovers. So this better be a success. The second book is the one provided by Book of the Month, and it is coming out January 10th, and it is All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. This is a mystery thriller, and it is about Isabel, who a year ago, her son Mason, a toddler, was stolen from her, and there's very, very few clues and no leads. But in this year, she has not been able to sleep out of anxiety, out of grief, out of desperation to find her son. So this true crime podcaster comes in and is like, hey, can I interview about this? But as he's interviewing her, he starts realizing and she starts becoming aware that maybe her constant insomnia is making her misremember things and maybe even misremember the things that she told the police about the night her son went missing. So we're following this, trying to find her son, and I'm very excited because I did hear really good things about Stacey Willingham's other book, A Flicker in the Dark, so I'm hoping that this will similarly be a success. On January 10th, we have the sequel to Ninth House, which is coming out, and that is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. So this is her debut into adult fiction writing, where I would say it's like a little bit new adult, I guess, because this is set in college. This is set at Yale, and it is following the insidious underbelly of Yale's secret societies, or fraternities more like, but these are actually real things, like Yale secret societies. Look it up. It's kind of terrifying. But I don't want to give too much of this away because one, this is the second book, and two, I do think that even explaining the summary of this could give stuff away, so I'm going to be vague. We're following Galaxy Stern, or Alex, and she gets accepted as a full ride to Yale, even though she has no qualifications to do so. She dropped out of school, but it's because she has a gift. She can see dead people. She can see the dead. And these secret societies at Yale do some magic-y, dark, witchy, bruja kind of shit. And they need her to keep the dead away from them, but they can't really see them. So they need somebody that can see it to block them. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so we're following that, and it's a very deep and dark and twisted, and there's a lot of shit going on. And in the second book, we're going to hell to find someone from the first book that we all love. I know we all love. And I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about, but just in case you haven't read this book, I'm not going to say it, but we're doing that, and I can't wait. I'm so pumped. And look at this cover. Like, tell me you're not excited. It just started raining really loudly, so if you hear that, apologies. But another January 10th release that I'm so excited for is the 8th book in the Wayward Children series by Shauna Maguire, and it is Lost in the Moment and Found. Look at this cover. Look at this cover. I'm fucking obsessed. I'm obsessed. Okay, so normally we would be following the Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children, but in this one we're actually following a new location called The Shop. And it's supposed to be a shop where all the lost things go. Now, Antoinette, our main character, has recently lost her father, but at the beginning of the story, she finds herself lost as well. Now, all these doors are opening for her, but going through them is going to cost a price, and getting out of the shop is going to be a lot more difficult than she at first believes. But here's the thing. This is what got me. The book, it literally has a 1-sentence summary, okay, on Goodreads, and it says that this book is about how childhood and innocence, once lost, can never be found again. And I was like, wow, not you trying to make me cry with 1 sentence. And then on January 17th, we have How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. He does mainly like horror comedy, and I love that shit, love it. And in this one, we're following a set of siblings whose parents have recently passed away from the panini, okay? And they are facing bankruptcy because of the financial meltdown that happened during the panini, okay? Don't want to get flagged, you know what I'm saying? So that happens, and the only asset that they have to get money is this house that was left to them. But when they go to try to sell it, they realize that newspapers have been put over all the windows and all the mirrors, and then the attic door has been nailed shut, and they're like, that's suspicious. That's weird. Like, what's going on? And the more and more that they try to like renovate this house and sell it, the more creepy shit keeps stacking up and up and up. And they're kind of starting to realize that maybe the only way to get out of this is to burn it to the ground. I'm excited. Literally, I didn't even need to read the summary. I was going to read this no matter what. This next one, I am a little bit confused on because it's Tell Me I'm Worthless by Alison Rumfitt, which actually published in 2021, but it says that the audiobook that I had set to pre-order doesn't come out until January 17th, 2023. So I don't know if there's any changes in the book that's coming out 2 years later. I'm a little bit confused by that, but I'm highly anticipating it. I love the cover, and this is also a haunted house story, and this is about 3 girls, Hannah, Isla, and Alice, where 3 years ago, they all went to this haunted, abandoned house, and ever since that night, Hannah just, poof, disappeared. Haven't seen the girl since. They have no idea what happened to her. And then Isla and Alice are like estranged and are living like haunted existences where it literally feels like something is following them and forcing everything that can go wrong to go wrong in their lives. And Alice is our main character, and Isla contacts her 3 years later and is like, we need to go back to this house. Like, I know we need to go back there. We need to go past the keep out signs, past the do not enter. We need to get into the belly of this house and find and save Hannah. And Alice feels drawn to it, like she can't stay away. So her and Isla go into this house to try and save Hannah, but Hannah has like kind of become the house, or the house has become Hannah. I'm not totally sure, but it's almost like a demonic possession, I'm pretty sure. But I'm very excited about this. And it's also supposed to be a sapphic LGBT horror fiction. And I'm just down to ride for that alone. January 31st, we have the 3rd book in the Finlay Donovan series, and that is Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. Now, I'm gonna stop you real quick and tell you that I hate this cover so much. I hate this cover so much. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I'm sorry. I'm sure the book is gonna be amazing. I love this series, but I needed to get that off my chest. Okay, so I'm not gonna tell you about what happens in the other 2 books, but it is a cozy mystery series where you're following an author of like romance crime novels named Finlay Donovan, and she finds herself constantly being put in these situations by like with crimes, with mafia, mobs, like all this different stuff. And she uses the fact that she is writing crime fiction as a cover for actually trying to solve crimes and being situated in crimes or running away from crimes. There's a lot of crime happening. But in this one, Felix, the mob boss, is like, you owe me. You owe me, Finlay, because of things that happened before. And he's like, I want you to find a contract killer before the cops do. But the problem is, this contract killer might themselves be an officer. But good news, Nick, the little hot cop, her little boy toy, is tasked with starting this like police academy training. And Finlay and her amazing assistant, or like crime buddy, Vero, are like, oh, so I'm writing a book and I need to know how to like shoot a gun and stuff. So can I like go and be part of the like academy? And he's like, I mean, sure, you're hot, so I guess you can come. And she goes in to like infiltrate to find out who this contract killer is. And I'm very excited to read this book. Like, it's just such a fun series. And while I didn't love the second book, I didn't love it, I still enjoyed it. And I'm going to continue in this series for as long as it runs. Watch me be the one that's jumping the gun, because the next book apparently, supposedly, possibly is coming out on February 2nd. And that's Heartstopper Volume 5. By Alice Oseman. This is the last book. This is the final installment of the series. I literally have goosebumps. I'm so upset. I do not want this series to be over. I'm so upset. Okay. I don't know if it's coming out because it doesn't have a cover, and this is like 3 months away. And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean? I need it, but I can't handle it. I need it, but I can't handle it. Do you know what I'm saying? If you don't know what Heartstopper is about, you have never had an ounce of joy in your entire life. Oh my God, watch the TV show, read this graphic novel. It's fucking stunning. It's so good. So you're following Nick and Charlie, and they are at this all-boys school, and Nick is like this rugby player, this big lad, you know, brawny, and then you have Charlie, who's like a piano player, and he's like, is it piano? He plays something. He plays some instrument, I forget, but he's like a music nerd, and they join like this rugby team together, and then it's like boys become friends, and then boys become more than friends, and oh my God, what's my sexual identity? Am I in love with you? Oh my God. I love this series so much, and I just don't understand how it's gonna be over. Like, I don't get it. I'm just so sad. I'm so sad, but you can bet your ass I will be reading this and crying, probably on live stream on my Patreon. On February 7th, we have the sequel to My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones, which is Don't Fear the Reaper. Now, I'm very curious to see how this is gonna be a series, but the first book, I don't wanna give too much away because it's a little speculative, it's a little confusing, but this is about Jade, who is obsessed with horror movies, like obsessed with scary movies. And she kind of lives her life like she is in one of them. And she starts painting this entire town like it's a part of a horror movie. But then when horrific stuff starts to happen, you're trying to figure out if she's telling the truth, if what she's seeing you can believe, if people are really dying, what's going on. And in the second book, not going to tell you why, but in the second book, you are following 4 years later when Jade is released from prison as an overturned conviction, and she goes back to the town of Prufrock. But the problem is, during a blizzard, a convicted serial killer escapes. Okay? He escapes. And what it says as the tagline is, it's Friday the 12th, whenever you start the book, and it says 36 hours and 20 bodies later, on Friday the 13th, it will all be over. Like, Stephen Graham Jones, like, what is his brain? Like, I don't understand. February 28th, I have yet another sequel, and that is the sequel to Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz, and it is Immortality, a Love Story. Like, look at this freaking cover. Both of these covers, just stunning. This is YA, and I loved it. Who am I? What the heck? So this is set in Edinburgh, okay? And you're following this main character who wants to be a surgeon, but she's a girl, and girls are not allowed to be surgeons. They're not allowed to do that back in the 1870s, okay? So you're following her, but then you're also following this resurrection man named Jack, who is going around and finding bodies so that surgeons can, do surgery on them. But here's the thing. In this book, Jack's friends are all of a sudden like going missing. Where are they going? What's happening? Oh my God. And I don't want to get into it, but let me tell you that if you know anything about the horrific backstory of surgeons in Edinburgh in the 1870s, it's true. It's based on a true story, and it's fucking terrifying. It's so creepy. Oh my God. So you're following that. And then in Immortality, can't really tell you what's happening. All I can tell you is that our main character, Hazel, is in prison for something. And then the King George is like, hey, knock knock, I really want you to come and like be my personal physician to like my sickly ass daughter. Can you do that? And then she goes, and then she gets embroiled in this like social club called the Companions to the Death. Listen, it's a gothic, just good time, okay? And I'm here for it. March 7th, A Sinister Revenge by Deanna Raybourn. I'm freaking obsessed. Obsessed. And 8 is my favorite number. So I feel like that's boding well for this series, okay? If you don't know what this is about, we'll be brief. It's a cozy mystery, but it's like so freaking good. Oh my God. It's about our girl, Veronica Speedwell, okay? And she's a lepidopterist, which means that she studies butterflies, okay? And then we have Stoker. He's so hot. I'm obsessed with him. And he is a natural historian. Now, in this book, Veronica and Stoker have been separated for months, and I'm not into it. Okay? But then Veronica comes with Tiberius, which is Stoker's brother, who he's always jealous of, goes and is like, oh my God, like Tiberius and I are trying to like solve this like crime or whatever, like you should totally join. And Stoker's like, oh my God, Veronica with my brother? Absolutely not. So he comes to join. Here's the thing though, the crime they're trying to solve is that Tiberius has this like clan of dudes called the 7 Sinners that were this like gang of pals or whatever that he used to be a part of, and he doesn't really ever talk about what he did or why they disbanded and all this stuff, but several of them had started dying, and then Tiberius gets a note that's like, you need to get your affairs in order because you're not long for this world, my dude. And he's like, fuck. So what he does is he sets up this like dinner party of all of the 7 sinners because he wants to lure out the person who's trying to kill them while Veronica and Stoker investigate. But as they come together and are talking, they're kind of realizing what the fatal incident was that brought them to this moment and are having them being picked off one by one. And I'm so excited. Literally, once again, I did not need to know what this book was about going in. I do not care. Does it have Veronica? Does it have Stoker? I'm into it. On March 14th, we have a very interesting like little sci-fi horror novella called Feed Them Silence by Lee Mandello, who is the author of Summer Suns. I haven't read it, but I know it was nominated last year for the Goodreads Choice Awards for horror, so I am excited, and I do love a horror novella. So this is about 112 pages, and it is about the not so distant future, pretty near future, which is always terrifying to me. And this is about a doctor named Sean, and she is studying one of the last remaining wild wolves. And what she's doing is trying to use this neurological interface to basically transplant her perception into this wolf so that she can see what it's like to live life through the eyes of an animal, which is her biggest obsession. And she wants to see what it's like to be part of a pack. And she wants to see what it's like to be the predator and actually to like have a fresh kill. But the problem is, this research is like corrupting her mind and body, and it's also corrupting the relationship that she has with her wife. So this is LGBT, it's horror, it's sci-fi, it's like wilderness, it's wild, it's animals, like I'm down. Another March 14th release is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murder, and this is by Jessie Satento, who is also the author of Dial A for Aunties. I haven't read it yet, but everybody says such good things about it, and after seeing Kayla love it, I was like, do I have to read this book? Like, I feel like I'm actually like, I have to. So this is about Vera Wong, who is an elderly Chinese mother who owns a tea shop. And one day she finds a dead body in her tea shop. And she's like, oh, what the heck? And there's a flash drive in its hand. So obviously Vera does the right thing. She calls the police. But she does what she thinks is the right thing and steals a flash drive because she's like, there's no way that y'all are going to do a better job than me. I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to do a better job, okay? And it's her tea shop. She's like, I know who comes in and out of here. So she decides to do an investigation, and that kind of pulls her into talking to a lot of these customers and then befriending these customers and possibly having to, rat out one of them to the police? We're not sure, but I am very much looking forward to this because I just love a cozy mystery with elderly people as the main characters trying to solve crimes. Love it. On March 21st, we have volume 9 of Spy Family by Tetsuya Endo, and I am so obsessed with this series. I've talked about it a million times, but honestly, if you you read manga, but you haven't read this, or even if you don't read manga, you will like this. You will. I've never heard a single person say a bad word about this series, and also the anime, fantastic. Okay, so in this, basically we're following a spy, Twilight, or Lloyd, and he's trying to stop World War III from happening, and to do that, he has to come in contact with this high-up figure, but the only way to come in contact with him is to meet him at private events at his son's private school. So to do that, he has to get fake married and have a fake kid so that he can implant himself into this school. Problem is, the fake marriage he gets into with she's an assassin. He doesn't know that, okay? And then the daughter that he adopts is a telepath, and he doesn't know that. So the daughter knows that the dad is a spy and the mom is an assassin, but she can't tell them that she knows that because she doesn't want to like release the information that she's a telepath because she doesn't want to be experimented on. It's hysterical. It's so funny. And in this one, Yor is set up to be like a bodyguard and personal assassin for this mafia family on this cruise ship. But then somehow Lloyd and Anya also end up winning a giveaway to go to this cruise. So they're on the cruise together and Yor is trying to like hide the fact that she's like an assassin and a bodyguard and working for the mafia. And I don't care what it's about. This is so, I'm guaranteeing you will smile, you will laugh, and you will love. March 28th, we have a new release from my absolute fave, T. Kingfisher, and it's A House with Good Bones. I've seen so many of my friends getting arcs of this book, and I'm like, what? Oh, okay. How does it feel to be chosen? How does it feel to be the chosen one? This is going to be a Southern Gothic horror story, which is her sweet spot. I love T. Kingfisher, and this is supposed to be about this girl named Sam, who her brother calls her and is like, Mom seems off. I think you should go check it out. So she goes to her childhood home, and her mother, who normally is so warm and energetic, is completely different, not acting like herself at all, jumps at the slightest sound, jumps when no sound is happening, nothing's going on. She's just so scared. And Sam is like, what's happening? And she finds a jar of teeth behind the rose bushes, and there's a bunch of vultures circling the garden. What? So she needs to dig up what is going on that's frightening her mom in her own house. But some secrets need to be left buried. Jar of teeth? You had me at hello. I'm sorry, I have no idea how I lost this one clip, but Sisters of the Lost Nation by Nick Medina is coming out on April 18th, and this is a horror mystery about a girl on a reservation named Anna Horn, and all these girls have been going missing on this reservation, and in this casino, there is a bunch of really entitled visitors who make her life a living hell, but not only than that, there's also a nameless, disembodied entity that stalks her every step, an ancient tribal myth come to life, and it's something that's trying to devour her whole, but when her sister goes missing, she'll do anything to bring her home. But the demons plaguing the reservation are both new and ancient. And sometimes the stories that never get told are the most important. This is supposed to be a gripping thriller and part mythological horror, and it's Nick Medina's spin on an incisive and timely novel of life as an outcast, the cost of forgetting tradition, and the courage it takes to become who you were always meant to be. I've never read from this author before, but this cover and summary sounded so intriguing, so this is definitely one of my most anticipated of 2023. April 25th is the release of Happy Place by Emily Henry. I do really love this bright pink cover. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not really intrigued by this premise, but I love Emily Henry, so I'm gonna read it no matter what. And honestly, I feel like a lot of times I read her summaries and are like, oh, okay, and then end up loving the book. So I should just have blind faith, honestly. But this is supposed to be about this couple who every year, them and their friends for the last decade have gone on this like getaway vacation. And this time they're going to this Maine cottage. And this couple broke up 6 months ago, but they do not want any of their friends to know. I don't know why. I don't know for what reason, but they don't want anybody to know. So for a week, they're supposed to be pretending to still be in a relationship, but they both want to be together. They're still attracted to each other, but for some reason, I'm assuming based on why they broke up, they're not together. So I'm assuming it's a second chance romance. I don't know, but listen, it's Emily Henry. It's gonna get read. On July 18th, I have an author that is new to me, and I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna mispronounce this, or I surely am, but Yumi Kitasai. It's a book that is called The Deep Sky, and it is a sci-fi thriller horror, okay? And it is set in deep space, and it's basically where the world has environmentally collapsed, and the Earth had this competitive program to pick out 80 graduates from this program to be the ones to survive. And we have our main character, Asuka, who is a Japanese girl. She's half Japanese, but lived in America, but was chosen by America to represent Japan in this new world order. Okay, so on this ship, here's the problem. Halfway to their destination, a bomb goes off on the ship and kills 3 crew members. Now, Asuka is the only person that was around the bomb that survived. So everybody thinks she did it. Now, it becomes this like big question of loyalty, and also, is the bomber gonna strike again? Are they gonna die? Like, are they gonna die before they even get a chance to try and save humanity? And I'm very intrigued. Like, I love an isolated thriller, and it's in space? Obsessed. Also on July 18th, I have a new book from one of my favorite authors, and that is Samantha Downing. Her new release is called A Twisted Love Story. Again, we're gonna pause a moment and say, I hate this cover so much. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Anyway, she wrote For Your Own Good and My Lovely Wife, both of which I absolutely adored, and I also really liked He Started It, so I've loved all of the books that she's written, and this one is kind of in a similar vein to My Lovely Wife. So this is about Wes and Ivy, and they're madly in love. But they're very passionately in love, and passion can lead to a lot of crazy things. Love can make you do a lot of crazy things, okay? So when they are on their high, they're on their high and they're golden. But when they're low, oh, they're breaking boundaries, they're low, okay? And they are trying to get through their relationship and they break apart, come back together. But the thing is, now they have a common enemy. And it's the police, because they're looking for them, because at their lowest low, when they broke up, there was one point where they broke up, they had this huge fight, and somebody ended up dead. So now they have to try to protect each other and protect themselves from the police and try to make it that if two of us can keep a secret kind of thing, okay? I don't know, I mean, listen, if you've read My Lovely Wife, I'm just gonna go ahead and assume how this ends, but I don't care because I will be reading it on release day. On July 20th, we hopefully will get the release of The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. So Ashley Audrain debuted her book, The Push, in 2020, and it was one of my best books of the year. I'm absolutely obsessed. Could not believe that was a debut. Her writing is absolutely exquisite. It's stunning. Read it if you haven't read it. It's amazing. So this is going to be her second book, and the summary is very vague. So sorry if I come across very vague as well. But basically it says that it's about a neighborhood of all of these different couples and families who there's some secret or a bunch of secrets, I'm assuming, that are kind of intrinsically tying them together. But one night, in the middle of the night, this woman's son falls, I don't know, out of his bedroom window, and now he's in the hospital. And she refuses to talk to anyone. And it's supposed to be about uncovering what happens when good people make bad choices. I mean, I'm here for it. It's actually Audrain. Slap me in the face. I'll give you 5 stars. We're getting toward the end of this video, I promise. But on August 8th, I am very excited for a new Catcher in Award, and this is Looking Glass Sound. I love this cover. This is very Jaws. I don't know, it's giving me Jaws, and I'm kind of obsessed. So this is obviously going to be a random, vague synopsis because all of her books are so trippy and weird, but this is following a guy named Wilder Harlow, and he is setting out to write the last book he will ever write. And he's writing it about his childhood, where when he was growing up, there was a killer that was stalking the New England town that he grew up in, and how one summer, a group of Wilder and his friends find a dead body, and how this disastrous discovery haunted them throughout the decades. And he's also talking about his ex-best friend, Skye, who stole his unfinished memoir and published it as a best-selling novel called Looking Glass Sound. Now, as Harlow, Wilder is trying to write this book, he starts to not be able to tell past from present or reality from fiction because he's finding notes scattered around and hidden in his cottage that are written in Skye's handwriting. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? What's happening? And honestly, I have no idea. And I'm probably pretty sure I probably won't know what's happening even after I finish the book because Catcher in Award is so weird and I love it. On August 15th, we are being blessed with another T. Kingfisher release, and this is Thornhedge. This is going to be, I'm assuming, kind of similar to Nettle and Bone, because this is going to be a novella that's more fantasy than horror, but I'm assuming there's going to be some horror thrown in there, because it's T. Kingfisher, okay? So this is supposed to be about this girl named Toadling. Yeah. You heard me. Okay. Totally. She is born, and when she is born, she is taken from her family by the fairies and is raised in the fairy lands and is taught magic and all of these things. But when she becomes an adult, the fairies are like, we need you to do us a solid. We need you to go to the human world and put a protective curse on this young girl. Okay. But then centuries later, this knight comes to the tower and is like, I heard there's this big bad curse over here and I'm gonna break it because I'm a big strong man and I do manly things and I'm gonna take this curse down. But then Toadling is like, on your life, bitch, did you hear what I just said? I just said, get away from this girl. Leave her alone. Disgusting. Trash man. Okay. So she's like, not in your life. I don't think so. And the tagline of this book is, there's a princess trapped in a tower. This is not her story. And tell me you're not intrigued. We're at the last book This is book 23 of the books I need to read in 2023. And this one will absolutely be happening. Like, unless something terrible happens and it doesn't come out in 2023, I will undoubtedly be reading the 4th book in the Thursday Murder Club series by Richard Osman. So it's supposed to come out on September 14th, but there's no cover and there's no summary. So I don't know. But during the 3rd book, he did say that he was already writing the 4th book. So I'm assuming it is going to come out in 2023. Knock on wood, good Lord. But this is about a group of senior citizens who get together in the puzzle room every Thursday to try and solve cold cases. But because of how inquisitive they are, they end up always finding themselves embroiled in current crimes and getting themselves enmeshed with like the mafia and shit. And it's so funny and it's such an amazing group of characters. Like, the characters are so good. And if you love like a comedic, cozy mystery, you will love this book, especially if you like British humor. I apparently love British humor because I was laughing out loud like during all of these books. So I will absolutely be reading this in 2023. Like, you can bet your ass. Okay, I feel like this video was a million years long. Let me know if you are going to be reading any of these books, if any of these are your most anticipated, or if there's any of these that you really want to see me do a reading vlog for. I would be very interested to know all of your thoughts and opinions. If you've gotten this far into the video, then leave the pink heart for the cover of Happy Place by Emily Henry, because it's just such a bright, vibrant color, and I just think that would be really cute. Or if they don't have just the pink one, then the pink one with the little sparkles next to it, because that's also super cute. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for watching, but I also want to thank Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to use the code WONDER if you want to get a $5 book from them, because hello, you could get a book that doesn't come out until 2023 right now. What's the con? Okay, anyway, sorry. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to follow me on Goodreads, Instagram, Patreon, anything, they are going to be linked down below, as well as the subscribe button and the like button if you just wanted to do a girl a solid, okay? And I hope you are having an amazing day, evening, night, dusk, dawn, whatever it is you're having in whatever part of the world you are currently having it in. And I will see you in a video coming very soon. Bye.